you bring up a very interesting point, and I know you're a researcher also, and so I'm charging you, a young soldier, to dig deep into this. Listen, you speak of rappers, and the fact of the matter is that maybe no longer than a month ago, there was a case whereby some rappers went out to do a rap video, and drive-bys came by and shot up the video set, and a rapper that was doing the video or a bystander was killed. Uh, it is strange that you mentioned this because as I think about this, in the last 3 to 4 years, uh, I have been to at least 5 or 6 scenes where rappers were doing videos, and they wound up turning into violence in which some of the rappers were killed. And this was always strange to me, is how a video shoot, a peaceful video shoot with rappers, could turn into violence in which hate was perpetrated on one another. So I just wanted to bring that into the motion of the thing of how a peaceful video supposedly could turn into violence. So this hate is really perpetrated deep, and that's something that you, young man, will have to dig into and figure out why a video shoot of rappers would turn into violence and murder.
Now, you've been fighting for, advocating for black people, but you're also a man of the people. I've personally seen people of all walks of life come up to you and just admire you and talk to you. So why is our crime different than any other crime in other different communities? Has people from other communities, are they telling you, well, yeah, we do this, but you guys, or you know what I mean? What is it that's so different? I'll give you my reason, but I want to hear yours. Is it just black on black crime, or is it something? Is it something else? Is it just close violence, or is it something else?
Listen, the reason Black on Black Crime Committee was formed way back then was that the fact of the matter is that I realized one thing. Uh, no matter how the other communities do or react in life or in a neighborhood, before you can move forward to talk about the other communities and work on the other communities, in your house, in your backyard, you must clean up your own backyard, and you must clean up your own house and your own surrounding first. So that's why the organization Black on Black Crime was formed. And brother, many times, even from blacks themselves, they would say, well, why do you call it black on black crime? Why don't you call it a white on white crime? Or why don't you call it a crime period? Why do you call it black on black crime? So there was a great resistance to the fact that we use Black on Black Crime Committee. But the reason we used Black on Black Crime Committee and Black on Black Crime was because the premise still exists today that before you can clean up somebody else's backyard, before you can clean up somebody else's front yard, you must first clean up your yard, then you can move further to the other territory. So the question you're asking me is how do we correlate and relate this to other communities? And my answer is, first of all, let's clean up our own backyard, and then we'll correlate this with other communities. So that's my point of view on that, all right?
All right, I want to veggie back off of that statement. I believe that black on black crime is self-taught, and we're emulating American philosophy, American behavior. The premise of, like you were saying, it starts at home. America, and this is a perfect example. Muhammad Ali, Vietnam. you fought in Vietnam. He didn't want to fight in Vietnam because he knew America was not taking care of home. America was not taking care of black people. And millions of people went to go fight and die in a war, but we still had to come back and deal with racism. America is constantly in these wars and constantly using morals and ethics to justify these wars. And you've seen it, I think, during Trump and I think at the end of Obama's presidency, where I think some of the leaders from Iran and stuff, they were saying, oh, deal with that racism. Deal with that racism. You talking about what we doing. We can't let women do this and we're backward society. Y'all can't even deal with racism at y'all own backyard. So I feel like a lot of stuff we're subconsciously emulating and we don't even really realize it. We grow up watching these movies and we emulate Italian culture, Italian mobs. We emulate Italian gangs, and we just absorb all of this in, and we emulate it. And not rightfully so, but understandably so, because our culture, our language was stripped from us. So naturally, we're going to gravitate towards other things, other cultures, other ideologies, even if they're destructive. So my next question for you is, how do you Go ahead.
Let me speak on that for just a moment. You're giving me a lot, but let me speak on that for just a minute. Listen, if I right today said to you, young man, or others, if I said Black Power, you all wouldn't know how to respond, basically. Y'all would shake your head or Black Power, or okay, or yes. When the proper salute is I say Black Power to you, you say Black Power to me. And that's so important because we've lost our identity of Black Power. We're scared to say Black Power. We'll say any other kind of power, but we won't say Black Power, and that's a great point you're making. We've taken on the identity of others. We'll say another ethnic group power, or we'll say this, but we won't say Black Power. And the fact of the matter is, until we get back to saying Black Power and realizing how important Black Power is for us, then we'll continue to take on the image of the man and those whose goal is to destroy us and make us not Black Power again. So it's very important that we take on that image again of Black Power and understand that all nationalities and ethnics have their own power in their soul, and ours is Black Power. So we must gravitate back to Black Power in order to stop some of the ills and the identities that we've taken on of others that has caused us to want to inflict pain on one another.
I want to veggie back off that again. I feel like we're, like you were saying, we're afraid of reclaiming our black power. And a part of Black Power is cleaning up our communities. And it's like we don't want to look in the mirror. We want to point the finger. We want to, fulfill our desires, fulfill our wishes. But at the end of the day, when it comes time to look in the mirror on what we need to work on, because that takes work.
Yes, it does.
Fighting the system takes work, but addressing our own communities take work. Stopping crime takes work. Stopping drug dealers, stopping prostitution, stopping violence, gun violence, it takes work. It's life risking. It's dangerous. And we have to create that narrative. That is the narrative of fighting black crime. Because we protest the police, and then when there's black crime, what do? 911.
Yes, absolutely.
911. 911.
Yes. Listen, from the very beginning, I realized when Black on Black Crime Committee was formed that there was a definite distinction between black on black crime and crime with others. In other words, if you kill a black man or a black woman, it was less significant than if you killed one of another race. So that has been filtered down through the system of blackness in which we feel like taking a black life is not as significant as taking another life, and it's not in the penal system and in as far as the law is concerned. If you kill another black man, your chance of going to death row is very slim. The chance of your penalty being great is very slim. But if you kill another, then your penalty is very difficult. So what it does, it minimizes your mind to think that it's not as relevant if you kill one another.
Man, we got to let that marinate, because that's again what I was saying about it's going into our subconscious. It's going into our daily thinking. We see, oh man, that's messed up. He got shot. Oh man, people get shot every day. Oh, well, this and that. And it's like we minimize it, and
Yes, sir.
we just go to the next video or whatever we're doing on our phones, and we make light of a situation. And as you know, these mothers are grieving. These fathers are grieving. These people have brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, nephews, grandparents, and they're burying their children. And it's like, it's become, what did Judy Martin, I seen she put the thing under, was there over how many thousand dead since 1990, under 25?
But if I could share a blessing with you, and that is that God have gave me enough longevity to realize that there's a great conspiracy in which the man, whoever he is, never want black on black crime to stop. And that conspiracy leads right to where we are today with our young people and the crime in the street and the devastation of our communities. If these entities didn't want this to happen, or would give us a chance to end our cities and our communities of black on black crime, we could do it easily and it would have been gone a long time ago. But the more we pull forward to stop it, the more these entities figure out a way to keep it flourishing, to keep it happening, and keep violence in our community flourishing so they can flourish, and big corporations and others can continue to profit on the death and the lives in our community. And so what has happened is, at your age, I couldn't have realized this, so God let me live a little bit longer so I could tell you the story of the great conspiracy as far as keeping black on black crime and what's happening in our community going.
Speaking of profit after death, John D. Rockefeller is buried here somewhere as well, the first billionaire in America. So you're going to end up in a cemetery or grave if you want to take these life-risking chances to become a rapper or to become a celebrity. Just know you can't take it with you. Now, you made a great point about the profit after death again. So